Hello and welcome to a Project Cars 2 multiplayer video where today we shall be racing in a field of 16 GT3 cars around Brands Hatch GP circuit. I'm driving the Acura NSX GT3 car and I'm going to be starting from 14th position. This is the setup that I am going to be using as the track conditions are relatively cool. Chosen to use the soft stick tyres. There's brake pressure there, the brake ducts, the downforce settings for you guys to take note of, also the camber angles and all the other suspension settings there. Dampers I think I've left largely unchanged from the loose default setup. There may be a couple of differences, but it was a while ago since I edited things here for this setup, so I think that everything is, well, the majority of stuff in the dampers is stock. Obviously a few changes here, radiator opening, engine braking, and obviously the fuel. And then the diff, I do believe I changed the coast ramp slightly as well. Let's just double check. It's 10 laps, so we do need a little bit more fuel on board. There we go, 24 litres, just to make sure that we have got enough. And let's get on to the grid, and we shall see how this race pans out. So just recentering the TrackIR 5, shift ourselves up into first gear, waiting for that green light. Launching off the line, and the Ginetta has just very kindly gone and taken out that Lamborghini for us, so that's 2 freebies immediately. There's a couple of cars quite slow on the right hand side, but very, very dangerously rejoining Mercedes AMG there, who gets a little bit of a tap from the Renault and sends him out wide. So we'll just try and sneak our way through the field here, just try and keep our nose clean, just pick up the pieces of any positions. A couple of cars making contact to my left, so stay tight on the exit. And now coming up behind this Renault RS01 who goes out wide, so we'll slip past him before we get to Surtees. Coming into that long left-hander now, and out onto the back straight, and down into Pilgrim's Drop. Just double checking the mirrors just to see where that Renault is behind. So we come now to very fast, long right-hander turn 5, running out a little bit wide there as I was kind of distracting myself slightly by double checking the mirrors behind. Just checking them a little bit too much. Missed the turning point and the apex, and then that running out wide. Now coming into Sheen curve. Spinning car off to the right hand side, so we'll give that one plenty of room. Another freebie position. Now as we're coming out towards the end of the lap, just doing a double check of the mirrors. Getting my bearings as we're coming up very, very close behind this pure white Lamborghini that's here in front of us. We're up into 4th position at the end of the first lap. Having a little bit of a look to the inside of the Lamborghini coming into Paddock Hill Bend. Slight bit of oversteer there as we're coming off the brakes. Just about managing to catch it, keeping just about our car whips on the exit there for the Lamborghini. Just try and hold it around the outside, but as we come into this long right-handed hairpin of turn 2, pretty much consolidate in 3rd position. About too much of an issue. They're running a little bit wide there in Graham Hill Bend. Once again, just double checking the mirrors just to see where the Lamborghini was behind, and it was pretty close just as we were coming into turn 4 there. Once again, down Hawthorne Hill now, and into Hawthorne's Bend. Again, just messing up the corner. Royally just turning in too early. It's quite a late apex corner. I just completely messed that one up. So Lamborghini goes back through, back down into 4th position. Just double checking the tyre temperatures, because obviously I'm running the soft tyres in these cooler conditions. Out a little bit wide there. Out on the exit of turn 7. Now once again on the run down through Clearways to Clark Curve. Lamborghini's out wide, so could be in with another good opportunity to try and get at this Lamborghini. Coming into turn 1, having a little bit of a look to the inside, but thinking better of it and staying in behind for the moment. Hooking up the apex very nicely, getting a good run coming off the corner. The Lamborghini immediately goes defensive, so we're going to try and go the long way around into turn 2. Just going a little bit deep. Didn't really work for us there, but we did get the good exit coming off the corner, getting that good drive. A little bit of contact there just as we were coming into Graham Hill Bend. Gives me a quick flash of the lights, so I thought I'd do the respectful thing and just let him go back through again. So resume the position in 4th place. did feel like he had plenty of room on the outside, but knowing the line that he would have taken into the corner, being pressed right up against the grass, he would have wanted to play it relatively safe, whereas obviously I had all the room on the left and kind of situated in the middle of the track. It's just unfortunate that we did rub fenders there, but I felt like that was more on me, and thought I'd do the gentlemanly thing of letting him go, but he's now gone off for a spin, coming out of Sheen curve there, just dipped the wheels out onto the grass. Very easy to light up the rears when doing that, and he ended up spinning round, and as you saw, stayed very much left rather than trying to go to the right, because it's always better to aim for where the car has been rather than where the car is potentially going to. The only slight issue with that is the kind of spin that he was having. If I was a couple of car lengths back, it probably would have been better to go to the right, because it looked like he wasn't going to end up travelling to the opposite side of the circuit. It just looked like he was going to kind of spin out and kind of, I don't think he was quite holding the brakes, so I think the tyres would have regripped and he would have rolled backwards and stayed over to the left hand side, but we managed to slip through the gap just in time. So now that we're back up into third position, our attention and focus turns to P2 and P1 up ahead, who are pretty close, locked into a bit of a battle it seems, so this could play into our favour. We've got the best part of 6 laps remaining in order to close up to them and try and get past in order to get the race win. The Acura, very, very good, nice, stable car. Doesn't have that great a top speed, but similar to the Z4 back in Project Cars 1, it's got very good aero efficiency. So if you get the aerodynamics set up right, it's very good through the corners. You can climb back some of that top end speed in comparison to the other cars, but it's also pretty good on the brakes, and yeah, very nicely planted, very nice and easy to drive. It's a very good beginner's GT3 car. Just a shame it doesn't quite have that the grunt of the some of the other GT3 cars. So it's not quite a jack of all trades sort of car. Shifting down into first gear there, unsettled the rear slightly, just made it a little bit sensitive, just catching the curb there as we came into Graham Hill Bend on the outside. That completely cost us the apex, and again just dipping the wheels out onto the grass as we come out through turn 4. So it looks like we're definitely closing up onto the P1 and P2 in front of us, which is good. Hopefully we can continue this pace and continue to close up on them. It seems like they've given each other a little bit of room now. The Ginetta has dropped off the back of the Audi R8 that's leading the way. They were a little bit closer on the previous lap. Using auto curb on the inside of Sheen curve there. Now coming into Sterling's. Just using second gear just to hook the car in quite nicely, and then getting hard on the throttle, quickly shifting up into third. Nice and patient as we come through Clark Curve, the final turn. Trying not to wet the tyres too much because we're up on the soft tyres, and obviously if we really start hammering them, they'll really start to overheat. They are running pretty hot on the left hand side. The right hand side isn't too bad. As the Audi leading the way is all over the grass on the inside of Druids Bend there. So just coming out towards the back end section as well. Once again using second gear just to hook the car into the apex of the turn, and we've got ourselves right up onto the back of the Ginetta. Wasn't the best of runs coming out of the corner though, so we are starting to drop back a little bit despite having the slipstream. But I think I'm running a little bit more downforce than the Ginetta in front, which is allowing me to get through the corners a little bit better, although made a bit of a meal of Hawthorns there. The Ginetta in front certainly had the better run through the corner. And again there you can see just how much more confidence I got in the car, especially coming out through the exit. I was able to carry much more speed and momentum, allowing me to close right up underneath the rear wing of the Ginetta in front. Not really going to be able to make a move coming into the final corner. The braking zone is really, really short. if we can get a decent exit coming out of here and down towards turn 1, could potentially be presented with an opportunity, but didn't quite have the run. So instead, slotting in behind, but the Ginetta's early on the brakes, coming into the first turn here, getting a good exit coming off, or good drive coming off. A little bit of a bump draft there. Coming out the exit as we're coming down the hill. So just settling behind. Still got the best part of the 3 laps, so feeling pretty confident. I can get the move done relatively soon. I've actually got a little bit of a run here on the Ginetta getting down the inside, coming into Surtees, down into second gear. Got to hold it tight to make sure I don't encroach on the Ginetta on my outside, but as you just saw, quick check of the rear view mirror, and the Ginetta has settled in behind us. So now we seem somewhat free to try and attack for P1. That's providing that the Ginetta behind doesn't really try and come too hard back at me. So we'll try and retake P2. Nice smooth run there through Westfield Bend. Now down through Dingledale. Climbing up all over the curb, and you can see you've got so much more confidence than the other drivers around me going through that turn. Able to carry a fair bit more speed through the apex, allowing me to close up quite nicely. Not quite getting the drive off the penultimate corner though. Now coming off the final turn. Audi hanging over to the right hand side. Looks like we've got a bit of a run here, picking up the slipstream now, closing up. Having to go to the outside as the Audi driver is going defensive, so we're going to have to go the long way around the outside of turn 1 here. We're pretty much neck and neck, although having to hesitate slightly on the exit. And still side by side as we come into turn 2. Slotting in behind, trying to go for the switchback there, but not quite getting the drive coming off the corner, and again we're a little bit wide coming into the third turn there. And the Ginetta is very, very close behind, but he wasn't really trying to make any moves on me. Yeah, I just had to hesitate coming out the exit of turn 1 a little bit, so I felt like the car was understeering out wide. They didn't run over the white lines and potentially pick up a slowdown penalty. Slight wiggle there through Hawthorns, but holding on to it, just using the grass to our advantage. And there you can see the confidence that I have in the corners, closing right up onto the back of the Audi, and once again as well having to jump on the brakes. So it felt like he was particularly slow through the apex there of Sheen Curve. So we're all over the back of him coming in towards the final turn. There was the back marker just off to the left, so that wasn't going to interfere with our battle. And once again, Audi driver kind of semi-parking it on the apex, preventing me from going for the switchback there. Once again going for the outside run coming in towards turn 1. Hopefully we can get a little bit further up alongside this time, but we've gone a little bit too deep upon the entry. So once again I'm hesitant on the brake there. Now I've got the Ginetta coming back at me. A little bit of contact there between the two of us as we come into turn 2. I was hoping to use the space on the outside of that Audi in front to basically try and get myself in a position away from the Ginetta and try and attack the Audi a little bit with a switchback, but the Ginetta was trying to outbrake me as I was braking late to make use of the space, and it just gave me a slight tap on the inside, but no harm, no foul. No damage from that. Still going, still facing in the right direction as you can see. Trying to close back up on the Audi in front. We've got one whole lap and a few corners to go. Again closing up along this back section here through the series of right-handers onto the back of the Audi, and once again he's quite slow through the apex, forcing me to have to get on the brakes a little bit, try and give myself a little bit of distance and so I can try and get the run, but it's not really working at this moment. Dropped a few car lengths back and we're a little bit wide here coming into the final turn as well, so I'm not going to be able to make the run or try and make an overtaking opportunity into turn 1 as we're coming into the final lap. Too far back here. The Ginetta seems like a few car lengths behind as well, so should be relatively safe from him. So we've got to focus on trying to nail these apexes and braking points to close up. Back underneath the rear wing, we've got another back marker off on the inside of the corner, having spun round. Not interfering with our battle here for the lead, which is good. Not the tidiest of runs through turn 3, could have been a little bit neater to the apex, but still not too bad. I'm going to need to get a good smooth run through Surtees here, closing right up underneath the rear wing of the Audi. A slight bit of oversteer on the exit, which could hurt our acceleration coming off the corner, but it's not too bad. We've dropped back about half a car length off the back of the Audi, but now we're closing up again in the slipstream, trying to force him to go a little bit defensive to hurt his run coming through turn 5 there. Try and present myself with a potential switchback at some point. Again, trying to go for it as well, but we get a whole load of oversteer there coming through Westfield Bend. Just dropped us off a couple of car lengths, so now we've only got a couple of corners left. Really got to try and push. Really need to get a good drive coming out of Sterling's here. So using that second gear, trying to hook it into the apex. Pretty similar drive coming off the corner, going for the fake move coming into the final turn. Just slowed down a little bit too much and then getting over the grass. And the Audi driver in front has done a fantastic and very fair job of defending that race lead. Quick flash of the lights there, just to congratulate him on the win, but that was a phenomenal race with some very good, fair and respectable battling. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. Make sure to hit that like button if you did. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. I'll try and get back to you as soon as I possibly can. But also consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification just to make sure that you don't miss out on any future Project Cars 2 content. But otherwise, I've been Yorkie065. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully I shall catch you again sometime soon. But in the meantime, have fun, stay safe and take care.